Under Section 802 of the U.S. Patriot Act, H.R. 1362, any person or persons found in possession of this information can be held under domestic terrorism, classified as an enemy combatant under Public Law 109-366, the Military Commissions Act of 2006, and detained without trial at any designated CIA interrogation facility. You are encouraged to distribute this digital disc to friends, family, coworkers, and complete strangers before it is too late to do so. Any public performance, unauthorized copying, or distribution via the internet is strongly suggested. Having been directly affected by the policies under NAFTA and the continual expansion of our globalized economy, I question these policies and their consequences on our nation. We were assured NAFTA would improve our standard of living and expand our economy. In spite of public debate and outcry, NAFTA went into effect January 1994. As time has progressed, the negative consequences of NAFTA and increased globalism have become apparent. Our nation's transformation from a manufacturing base to service-based economy has created losses in blue-collar jobs, increased our trade deficits, and increased the transfer of our nation's wealth and sovereignty to foreign nations. We are told to accept these negative effects. Collectively, we have accepted these consequences as part of our changing world. As a middle-class white-collar worker, I ignored concerns for my fellow citizens since I believed my job and career were safe. In recent years, professional white-collar job losses have increased to countries such as India, Singapore, and Malaysia as U.S. high-tech manufacturing has moved overseas. Now, humbled by the loss of my good-paying job and witness to hundreds of my fellow co-workers having their careers uprooted and sent overseas, I have decided to speak out. I put this presentation together to alert others of new policies, much more aggressive than NAFTA, that are currently being implemented under the Security and Prosperity Agenda. This new agenda is nothing less than an attack on our nation's sovereignty to benefit those who appear to have little respect for our nation's democracy, its citizens, or our heritage. The only way to ensure these plans get implemented is to conceal the SPP agenda from the public. From months of investigation, I have concluded these plans under the SPP agenda will have dire negative consequences for most U.S. citizens, put in question our democratic process, and will forever change our nation. Initiatives adopted in March 2005 under the Security and Prosperity Partnership of North America are leading to the formation of the North America Union. The United States, Canada, and Mexico will become an economic and political region similar to the European Union, the EU. This will not be formally announced anytime soon. However, the elements are being put into place now. Many argue that free or open trade has served to improve the U.S. economy and has benefited our nation in other ways. The efforts underway within the SPP go well beyond improving free trade, or NAFTA, to the actual integration of the United States, Canada, and Mexico into a common North America community. Elements of integration include technology, commerce, infrastructure, security, social, economic, political, and cultural aspects of our nations. The creation of the European Union was a gradual process achieved over a 50-year period. Lessons learned from the formation of the European Union are serving to accelerate the formation of the North America Union by 2010. Trade policy has steadily progressed over recent years to become more inclusive of all the Americas. The U.S.-Canada Free Trade Agreement, the FTA, 1980s, the North America Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA, 1990s, and the Central America Free Trade Agreement, CAFTA, was recently approved by Congress. Efforts to rein in all the Americas under the Free Trade Area of the Americas, the FTAA, have largely failed. The agenda adopted under the Security and Prosperity Partnership of North America, the SPP, will serve as an interim step until further progress can be realized under the FTAA. Why should any of this matter to you? This integration will result in U.S. job losses. U.S. wages will be reduced as incomes equalize across the continent. This will help make U.S. corporations more competitive, while reducing the standard of living for many U.S. citizens, favoring corporate over individual interests. The loss of our sovereignty and national identity will result as the integration proceeds and unfolds. Under the SPP activities, to counter the risk of terrorism and crime from Mexico across our open borders and to facilitate the free movement of labor across our continent, new technology is being put into place that will result in the loss of freedom and privacy. We are being kept in the dark intentionally. If these plans were openly discussed by the media and our political leaders, the public pressure would halt these activities. A few exceptions aside, our mass media has failed to inform the public of these changes. As the agenda adopted under the Security and Prosperity Partnership in North America becomes policy, each of us will begin to better understand the significance of these events. Our politicians remain silent and remiss in engaging their constituents into a debate over these transformations. 4 of the 535 House and Senate members are openly opposing the SPP activities. Many others are supporting legislation that enables this integration. Why are the citizens, those who will be most impacted by these changes, being left out of the debate? Our democracy demands that people have a say in these decisions. Continuing along this path will forever redefine who we are as a nation. This presentation is intended to convince you that these changes are real, who is really behind them, and how we can stop this treason against our nation. Engage others in your leadership in ways to stop these activities. Presentation outline. Part 1. Understanding the European Union model and how the SPP agenda contains most elements of the EU. Part 2. Laying the foundation for the North America Union. The SPP agenda is the North America Union. Part 3. The SPP, the North America Union, and the media. Part 4. Policymakers. How the Council on Foreign Relations, the CFR, created the SPP agenda, who they are, and how the elite of the CFR will benefit from the North America Union. Part 5. Get involved. Here is what you can do. Is the European Union model being applied to the North America Union? By understanding and comparing elements of the European Union with the SPP cooperative framework, we can begin to understand where we are heading. Aspects of the European Union include a common single economic market with a customs union, a single currency, common unified trade policy, common agricultural and fisheries policies, common security policy with integrated policies on immigration, harmonized environmental standards, harmonized governmental regulations, standardized corporate, copyright, and trademark laws, and harmonized weight standards. Custom checks are abolished at most internal borders, creating a single space of mobility for EU citizens to live, travel, work, and invest. For a general description of the European Union, visit Wikipedia at www.wikipedia.org. Or visit the European Union website at www.europa.eu/index_en.htm for the English version of their site. The cooperative framework of the Security and Prosperity Partnership in North America entails most elements existing within the European Union. During the Waco Trilateral SPP Summit press conference, the goals and expectations of implementing the SPP cooperative framework are made clear. The Waco Summit, creating the Security and Prosperity Partnership of North America, establishes the framework necessary to build the North America Union. President Bush, former Mexican President Vicente Fox, and former Canadian Prime Minister Paul Martin met at Baylor University in Waco, Texas on March 23, 2005. There they issued a joint statement creating the Security and Prosperity Partnership of North America. This joint statement is serving as the foundation for forming the North America Union. The Security and Prosperity Partnership of North America establishes an aggressive agenda to integrate core aspects of our nations within 24 months of the March 23, 2005 SPP Summit. This significant event was ignored by the media. During the Waco Trilateral SPP Summit press conference, the leaders make clear their objectives and plans. Surprisingly, the debate continues regarding the true intentions of the SPP agenda. The Waco Trilateral SPP Summit is followed a year later by the Cancun Trilateral SPP Summit meeting held in Cancun, Mexico and hosted by Mexican President Vicente Fox. To watch the Waco Trilateral SPP Summit meeting in its entirety, go to www.baylortv.com. The Waco SPP Trilateral Summit Conference was the first of several key SPP Trilateral Summit meetings that have already taken place moving forward the SPP agenda.
Thank you all for coming. It's my honor to welcome two friends to Baylor University. First, I want to thank the Baylor University family for providing these facilities for us. It's, your hospitality is awesome. I appreciate the meetings we just had. Our relationships are important today. We intend to keep our relationships strong. Our relationships will be equally important for the years to come. And so we had a good discussion about prosperity and security. It turns out the two go hand in hand. It's important for us to work to make sure our countries are safe and secure in order that our people can live in peace, as well as our economies can grow. We've got a lot of trade with each other. We intend to keep it that way. We've got a lot of crossings of the border. We intend to make our borders more secure and facilitate legal traffic. We've got a lot to do, and so we charge our ministers with the task of figuring out how best to keep these relationships vibrant and strong. And I appreciate the commitment of the Prime Minister and the President toward a spirit of partnership to outlast whatever politics may occur, that puts in place a firm commitment to markets and democracy and freedom and trade and mutual prosperity and mutual security. And so I want to welcome our friends. After we go through this exercise of democracy, that being answering your questions, I'm looking forward to hosting them to the ranch for a little lunch and a further discussion. We'll be spending time talking about the neighborhood, the countries in our region, and how best we can work together to make sure that democracy is firmly a part of the future of this neighborhood of ours.
Taking the only solution that's as big as the problem, that is the Convention of States. If you want term limits on Congress, if you want term limits on Supreme Court, only Convention of States give you that. If you want fiscal restraints on the federal government that go way beyond a balanced budget amendment, you get that in Convention of States. If you want to have a legitimate discussion about repealing the 17th Amendment, repealing the 16th, getting rid of the IRS, only Convention of States gives you the opportunity to discuss those things. You have the right and the obligation to have that discussion for the American people.